What's up? We're the Manchester Social Club, and you're watching Meet the Locals. Cheers.
April here with Ready or Not Entertainment and doing our segment Meet the Locals. I'm sitting here with the Manchester Social Club from the Twin Cities. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Right.
Good.
Grand.
So I interviewed you guys last year in July, and you guys add a member, or were they not yet?
We've done a bit of a lineup change. We've added this fool over here, Nick Ruby on drums.
Okay.
We previously had Mason, my good friend Mason. He actually got married, and he's like, I have like a wife and responsibilities now.
Yeah.
So I was like,
For it.
I was like, Groovy, what are you doing now? so yeah, we got Groovy on drums now, and still us three kicking it on the strings. So
Let's just introduce yourself.
yeah. So again, I'm Nate back, guitar and vocals.
I'm Nick Benson. I play guitar. You know, the fun stuff.
Taylor McKee, I play bass and backup vocals.
I'm Nick Ruby, and I hit things with sticks.
Okay. So Nate, I know when we talked last July, you had just moved back from California.
Yep.
What all has changed since then?
Everything, literally. I'm colder now.
Yeah.
No, but so I came back from California and I took over running the St. Paul School of Rock.
Okay.
So when I'm not doing things with the club here, I'm over at School of Rock teaching young kids how to eventually become music professionals.
Okay.
And that's taking up a ton of time.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. And yeah, it's just become a lot more of a more structured kind of life. I mean, I feel like the culture in California is so much more kind of go with the flow, like day to day. And here it's very much more like I have my whole month planned out right now, and I'm going like month to month. So it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, but good. I mean, I have no complaints, so it's all good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good weather.
Yeah. Besides, I mean, well, luckily though, it's been like a really mild winter.
It has.
So I haven't, had to hunker down too much.
Yeah. So how do you guys differentiate yourself from other bands?
I mean, I guess it's kind of when it goes back to like our influences, like we spoke last time. Like we all come from such different backgrounds that a different flavor gets put into every instrument we play respectively, and how we play it, so everyone in the audience can latch on to something, whether they're into, I mean, rock and roll is such a giant genre of music, and there's so many subgenres. And even like now we've started writing with like more like jazz chords and blues chords too. So we're starting to introduce that into our sound as well. And it's just like it's not like a typical show. Like we really, try our best to really get the fans where it feels like it's one. Like the last show we played, that we were talking about earlier, he actually broke a string in like, what was it, the second song. And his girlfriend in the audience runs up to stage with a string. He restrings it. I'm like looking at him like, dude, you're not gonna make the solo. Like you're just not gonna live the fastest string change ever. Like he got it changed, and Groovy, you were dying of like Ebola.
Yeah, I still have no voice left.
Dang.
And then I lopped the top of my finger off halfway through the set on my string.
I think I seen the picture. Did you post the picture?
Yeah, my guitar's still covered in blood. I gotta clean that up. But like, and then we had our buddy Sam McCauley from Homeward Bound. He's another like West End St. Paul punker. He opened up for us and he jumped on stage and he did Olympia from Rancid with us, and stuff like that. Like we really try like really hard to make it a party for everybody, rather than it being like we're the band, you're the audience, now listen. You know what I mean? And then we're always there. Like we're the first ones to the bar. Like way before doors open, we're always the last ones to leave. So we're always like hanging out and drinking and just having a good time, because that's what it's about,
It is.
So.
Yeah. Because you guys hosted No Cover Pub Rock Night. It's the first Thursday of every month at the Minnesota Music Cafe.
Yep, at Minnesota Music Cafe.
Yeah.
We do a pub rock night there, and like it's something that like I've wanted to do for a long time, and I really felt that like there's all these bands that get represented in Minneapolis. Hex Bar always has like really cool punk bands going on there, and the Entry and Triple Rock and whatnot. But I really didn't feel that St. Paul had a home for like pub rock, punk rock, rock and roll. So I just it's weird. It literally came to be over drinks. It's like just sitting at the bar. we've worked with Minnesota Music Cafe for a while with School of Rock, so we know Karen and Katie, the owner, and her daughter quite well. And I was there, we were just hanging out after a School of Rock show, and I was just telling her, I was like, yeah, I have this idea where I want to do like a monthly night where it's like I book like bands that I feel that I would want to see as a fan, that otherwise have to go to Minneapolis or whatnot to play. She said, well, why don't you do it here? And I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to. I mean, I love Minnesota Music Cafe. That's one of the venues it's run for the music and for the talent. It's not run, what's up, we're the hippest bar, so we're going to get the latest band that had the latest single come and play, which is really great. And then the way they operate, on the back end for the bands, it couldn't be any more comfortable for us. And the other bands that come in. So it was literally dealt upon a drink at a bar, and
Amazing looking, come over and drink.
right. And we've been doing that since November, and it keeps getting better and better and better. And I'm really looking forward to the next one on March 5th. The owner of Capitol Guitars, Eric Berg, he has a band called the Regenerators.
Okay.
And they just had their 10-year anniversary party in Amsterdam. And I'd heard that he had this rock and roll band, and it was killer, but I never heard him.
Yeah.
And generally after being in the music industry for as long as I have, it takes a lot to really drop my jaw.
Yeah.
With a band I haven't heard. And they were like 15 seconds into the first song, and I'm just like fuck, like this is killer, like this is what's up, So I've been bugging him to come play, and they're gonna come co-headline the March 5th show with us.
Yeah.
So beyond ecstatic, just from myself from a fan perspective, to get to go party with those guys and
cool.
Listen to what they got. So
did you see both the other bands that come in? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So far it's been like friends or friends of friends, but I'm always accepting applications.
Okay.
Anyone can email me anytime at TheManchesterSocialClub@gmail.com. Send me a Reverb Nation or whatever. I'm currently booking into April and May right now. But yeah, just looking for just cool bands that just like to have a good time and just have a good sound, and generally have something to say with their music, rather than just trying to copy whatever the latest trend is.
So it's kind of an individual question. What albums have influenced you guys with your music career so far?
Beardy.
Oh, I thought you were actually saying an album.
I don't think I've ever heard that one yet.
Probably the biggest influence for me to when I first got into playing was the Tool album Enema. That was just the big masterpiece of instrumentals that was out when I was 15 or 16. And then since then I kind of retracked their influences, and then it's all been Zeppelin 1 or a couple old jazz tunes. There's not really any one thing, but it's just kind of I guess if I pick one, I'd say Enema from Tool, and it just sparked from there.
I have to think about
Personally,
it.
I gotta think about it for a second. Obviously, I stem a lot of my influences in guitar rock and stuff like that, being a guitar player. But I can't help but argue with the fact that as a kid growing up, my uncle would jam out to Grateful Dead records all night long and stuff. So it's I've definitely attached to that whole creating music on a whim thing and that jam band style stuff. And I try to take that into the elements that that other bands do, any other project I ever come to. I try to bring that it's all just music, it's all just something to create, it's all something we can and have the ability to do. Let's make it cool, And yeah, so all the way from Grateful Dead to Queens of the Stone Age, I was just rocking out to their stuff on the way here, It's there's no limitations to what I like to listen to, so it's I can't ever seem to quite pick an album. It's whatever I'm kind of cycling through at that specific moment.
Okay.
I literally thought you were going to say Alice Cooper. I literally listened to Alice Cooper on vinyl for you today.
There you go.
You don't even bring it up.
There's your answer. The Coop, man.
I love Alice Cooper. There's a few albums that really shaped my musical, taste and playing styles. Appetite for Destruction was probably the first album that I really started delving into guitar-wise. And it was the first album that really opened my eyes to, wow, people don't just tune their guitars to E standard. Slash and Izzy tune their guitars to E flat, and it gives it kind of its own vibe to it. So I was like starting to learn those tunes, so I would tune my guitar down to E flat, and I always loved doing that. And then I came across Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols when I was like 14.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. So like my view on the Sex Pistols is like it's just basically like a rock and roll band with like a punk vocalist. So it was a very natural bridge for me to go from Guns N' Roses rock and roll kind of a background into like the punk area of things. And like when you're 14, like you start learning about the government and you're just like a pissy teenager, you know what I mean? And you're just like, screw you, like that's messed up or whatever. And I remember like I heard God Save the Queen. It's like that end chant of No Future, like really spoke to me. But damn it, their guitars were tuned in E standard, so every time I wanted to play their music, I had to like retune my whole guitar. I'm like, this is just so annoying. And then my neighbor actually at the time, around the same time, gave me the Social Distortion album, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, and like I put it in, and it comes in on that tune, Cold Feelings, on that B, and it's tuned to E flat, and I'm like, okay, so now we've gone into like punk, but now we're into E flat, so now this is making a little more sense with like the actual tone of the guitar that I like, And then from there I started delving more into the Social D stuff, and I guess this is what changed my playing style, my writing style more than anything, is I got the Social Distortion Live at the Roxy album, and his guitars are tuned to E flat, and then he capos on 2. So yeah, I guess it's an F if your guitar is tuned standard, and that just blew my
I just
mind.
hit things, man. Yeah.
You're like, I hit wood circles with wood sticks.
That sounds like a yep.
But hearing that,
good.
because like the guitar made sense to me in E flat more than in E standard, and then he capoed it, and it was like a whole nother revelation of a tone that the guitar would give. So when I started, writing, I would always capo it on 2, because I just think the guitar sings more, and it just sounds better. Like that, and it drives all these guys crazy that I do it all the time. But because I'll be capoing on 2, and we'll be like, working on a new song. I'll refer to it like a G, but they're like, no, it's an A, and I'm like, well, in my world, it's not, But I mean, and that's another thing that I differentiate ourselves from other bands, is that even like going down to tunings, and the fact that we tune to E flat, I'll capo, he won't. So there'll be 2 different voicings of each chord that you're hearing, which it covers a broader musical spectrum. That I really like to hear that way, and it gives it its own flavor that I really like. So long story short, I would have to say Live at the Roxy by Social D.
My biggest influences probably growing up were the early Gunnar Skinner records and Molly Hatchet, a lot of Southern rock. That's my dad listened to that in the car, so I listened to that in the car too. So I don't know, just grew up listening to that, and then when I was in like 7th, 8th grade, the Metallica thing was happening and whatever, like every 13-year-old listens to. For some reason, I don't know why that happens.
Seek and Destroy Energy.
Yep, that. And then, I don't know, I heard a Stevie Ray Vaughan record, and I was like, nope, this is it. I don't care about Metallica, whatever. I'm going to learn this. And I played blues guitar. Like, that was my thing. I don't know what happened there. But like a lot with like Southern rock and blues, it's very closely related.
Yeah.
And then from there, got into like soul and funk and R&B, and then I don't know, got into Clutch, more psychedelic bands, and then got heavier and heavier, and I don't know, just like loud, fast groove rock music.
Yeah.
I don't know the good stuff. That's what I went on.
The good music.
Yeah, the good. I like the good music. That's,
Not Kanye.
no.
Oh god, that's not.
I got one man.
I was thinking about that on the way here. I'm like, he's.
The Kanye hate train is so strong right now.
It is all over Facebook. I'm like, people
Literally.
need to stop.
It's great. It's finally get that fool out of here.
I mean,
man.
it's funny. It is.
I got like one more album to add, like where I really started to grow like my own drumming voicings was when I first heard Clutch, Robot Hive Exodus,
Yes.
and it's just so smooth and like it's kind of aggressive playing, but it's still like smooth and greasy. It's kind of like a good juxtaposition of like nice southern rock, but still punky and heavy.
So you guys are recording some new songs?
We're in the middle of writing new songs right now. We want to go in the studio in the next couple months or so. We just wrote this tune. It was kind of funny. We were just after rehearsal. And it was like it was getting to that point where we're like, all right, we got to start writing some new stuff. And I felt like writing some new stuff. And Kayla was walking around with the guitar, just playing this. It's like real jazzy kind of thing. And just literally just walking around aimlessly. And I'm like on my phone or whatever. I'm like, I just hear in the back. I'm like, dude, stop! Like, what are you playing? And he's like, well, it's like an A to a C sharp 7, 9, 12, 17 minor. And I'm not really that great in guitar theory.
Celtic is not a thing.
I
4 once in a while.
I totally write by ear. So I was like literally like, hey, slow down. What are you doing? And he showed it to me. I went home and I wrote some lyrics to it. And a chorus chord progression. We came out with that, which we've been playing live a lot lately. And then we came up with another one. And now we're actually going back to the rehearsal studio tonight to come out with our number 3. And when we finish about 5 or 6, Trace.
Once we get to 4.
Once we get to 4, I gotta
Can't go
restart counting
anywhere.
on 1. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 on the next EP. But yeah, I'd really ideally like to put out an EP by like midsummer or fall.
Can people watching this interview find your guys' music and find you?
Definitely, you can find us at TheManchesterSocialClub.com, iTunes, The Manchester Social Club, Facebook, The Manchester Social Club, Reverb Nation, The Manchester Social Club, Twitter, Manchester S Club, Instagram, The Manchester Social Club. That's what's great about having a name that no one else even comes close to. Everything is just whatever you look for, just go to the Manchester Social Club.
I'll throw more too in the description. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that'd be great. And again, you can email us anytime at TheManchesterSocialClub@gmail.com.
Okay.
We actually, it's funny, we got a picture from a fan that picked up one of our t-shirts at a show, took a picture in front of it wearing it in front of the Eiffel Tower.
I've seen that.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Any last words?
No, just come out to a pub rock night, first Thursday every month. Let's have a good time, and we'll get that EP done for you guys. And I would love to give a shout out to Minnesota Music Cafe for giving us a home. Homeward Bound for always opening up for us. I got another home. You played with us all the time. Devouring Maidens. They're an Irish punk band out of St. Paul. Give them a shout out. Go check them out if you're around. Yeah, well, April, thank you so much for this again.
Thank you for coming in. Check out the Manchester Social Club. Check out Meet the Locals. We put up new interviews every Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time, and we'll see you next interview.
Cheers. Thank you.
Some of us.
I've never sat in this chair before either.
But sit up and look presentable.
Well, you can sit down. We can
Everyone just
Slouchy.
We are the laziest band in the world. We don't do shit. I do not sit up in my interviews. Fuck that.
So introduce yourselves. Meh.
Nah, I'm good. We're cool.
No, thank you. Pass.